Hey folks, Chris Naugle, America's #1 money mentor. Today I'm going to take you behind the scenes of me working with a client to solve his money problem. And his money problem is debt. And what you're going to see is you're going to see how we use the money multiplier method to solve this money problem and how we do it in a fraction of the time he thought it would take for him to pay off debt. Join us on this behind the scenes look of what we do to solve the money problem. All right, so here we are back again, man. I know you're on vacation now, huh?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I just celebrated my 37th birthday yesterday, and we're out here in Austin, Jamaica. This is our 7th day, I believe, here.
Fantastic. I know I'm from New York, and so are you. So anyway, to get out of this place would be good. So what we did, we're going to do a little recap of our last conversation, but what we did is we went to the different insurance companies and we chose Mass Mutual. And the reason for that is because you're in New York. It's the best provider for the infinite banking concept in our area. Now, we use like 5 different carriers. All different carriers have different rates, have different dividends, so they each differ a little. But because we're in New York, Mass Mutual is the best choice. It's a great company, 163-year-old mutually owned insurance company, works very well for the infinite banking concept. So I went to Mass Mutual and we had them design 4 different plans. 4 different IBC plan designs, and I really wanted to take your goal and what one of these plans is going to solve your goals the most efficient way. And that's what we did. So we're going to get into those in a second, but I just wanted to real quick recap exactly what we did the last call. So the last call, we discussed, what, you have been doing, the real estate education, which is one of the things you're trying to really grow into. You spent a bunch of money on education, you paid it off, but then getting into the business, you kind of racked up some more debt. And you did some debt consolidation. So your debts as they currently stand are, we have a 401k loan for $31,700 that you plan to pay off in 5 years. We have a personal loan for $27,000 that you're going to pay off in 5 years. And then we've got a line of credit for $30,000 that would be essentially a 10-year payoff. All 3 of those debts total about $1,701 a month that you're currently giving away to the banks. And the 401k, you could argue that money is going back into your account, but it's still cash flow, right? It still comes out of your paycheck every month. So we got $1,701 of which we want to wipe out. We want to pay them off. Your goal was to pay them off as quickly as possible if we just follow the plan of the bank, not the plan of Chris. So we want to follow Chris's bank, not their bank. And if we do Chris's bank, then we should be able to pay this off much quicker than 5 years. Then we looked at your income. And you got a great job. You're kind of, at not the pinnacle of your career, but you're getting yourself there at a young age. And congratulations on that, by the way. So we got $6,800 a month in after-tax income that's coming in, which is about $81,600. Your expenses from just all your monthly expenses, I'm not going to run through them, but total about $1,899 a month. So that's about $22,788 a year. And if we take your income from your expenses, you're left with about $4,900 a month in disposable income and $58,812 a year in disposable income, of which right now, as you laughed, is going into a checking account.
Hey, yes. I got almost a year of supply in the checking account.
A year supply earning 0.02%. Actually, after inflation, your net is about -3%. So then we went into some of the things that you thought would be really important for a place where you were going to put that money. If you're going to change one thing and you were going to change where your money goes, there was a couple things you wanted. Number one, you wanted a good, strong cash-on-cash return. You wanted to make a return on your money. Number 2, you wanted some tax advantages, because why pay the government any more taxes? You wanted access and control of your money, because in real estate, if you get an opportunity, a deal shows up, you're going to need that money to use it. Obviously, we know we want to pay off debt, and we want to, I kind of threw that in there, we want to keep pace with inflation, or at least beat inflation. So we got to beat 3.2, which all of these plans using the Mass Mutual plan designs, Mass Mutual's contractual guarantee is a 4% interest rate, and they pay a dividend every year. And currently, this is 2020, So the year of 2020, they're paying 2.2%. Now, dividends are not guaranteed. They can change, but we are at a 30-year low on the dividends based on the current scale. So 2.2. So that's where we're at. Now, the other thing that I know you talked about and we talked about a lot is the ability to earn this eighth wonder of the world, the uninterrupted compound interest. Because I think really that's the one thing that a lot of people don't understand about this. Is this vehicle, okay, this specially designed and engineered whole life, very different than a regular whole life. So you can make premium deposits into the vehicle. You can then take that money back out, a certain percentage, which we're going to look at today. When you take that money out, the insurance company actually loans you money from their general account. Your money, your deposits are still in that account, earning uninterrupted compound interest. So your money stays in your account while the insurance company graciously just lends you money from their general account in the form of a loan. Now, most people, when they hear about loans, they think a loan is a bad thing, right? Because I got to pay the loan back, which is what we're trying to do. We're trying to pay all your loans back. But this loan, essentially, the insurance company doesn't require you to ever pay that loan back. They will charge you interest on that loan at a rate of right now, 2020, 5%. So you're going to pay 5% simple interest on whatever money the insurance company loans you, but if you remember, your money is going to be sitting in the account, earning a guaranteed 4% plus the dividend, which in 2020 is 2.2. So you're making 6.2, and if you took all your money out or whatever amount you had in cash value, you'd be paying 5% on that money. So that's the important thing that people don't understand is there is really no other place that I know of, and I don't know if you know of anywhere else, that you can make deposits, earn that kind of an interest rate, take the money back out, and even if it's in the form of a loan, and still continue to earn uninterrupted compound interest. So that's the thing that really makes this so incredible is the fact that we can earn that interest. And people don't understand compound interest, which is why Albert Einstein said, those that understand it, earn it, which I'm going to show you what we're going to be earning, and those that don't, pay it. So we're going to basically change those tides, and we're going to own the bank, which means we're going to basically control that money, and we're going to take advantage of the uninterrupted compound interest. So, all right, let's see what else. We decided on a $50,000 annual deposit, which gives you the flexibility after year one to reduce that down if you wanted. And the way that we've done these plans, most of them, and I'll explain it as I walk through, give you the ability to fluctuate down to as low as 60% less than that, which would be 20 grand. All right, so let's dive into this. So the four plans, and we've sent you all these illustrations. So these are the illustrations that we did from Mass Mutual. So they were created, let's see, on 7/1 of 2020, and we did them at 50,000. Now the 50,000, the way we designed these plans, we're putting 50,000 in for 5 years, and then after the 5th year, we're going to do 20,000. So we have to drop it down, and that's primarily due to the MEC guidelines, the IRS MEC 7 pay rules that the insurance companies and the IRS set. So that's how these are designed, and Mass Mutual graciously did 4 different plan designs for us, which was very, very nice of them. So if we get into the numbers, I mean, you're looking at the numbers. I mean, there's 4 different designs. So how do we know which design is going to be the best design for you? It really comes down to our goal. That's really all that matters is your goal, right? And your goal is to pay off those debts. So whichever one will pay the debts off the most and still have the best returns later is the one we would go with. So if you look at it, we've got the first 2 in the top columns there are the Mass Mutual Legacy 100 plan, okay, which is a whole life insurance policy. The first plan we designed, we did 60% to the LISR. So most people would know this as the paid up additions, but for Mass Mutual, it either goes by ALIR or LISR. So not to get complicated with that stuff, but we're taking 60% of the money and we're putting it into this rider that the insurance company through the whole life allows us to do. And that means that money is going to be available. Then the 40% goes to the base. What is the base? It's basically just a normal off-the-shelf whole life. If you walk down to the life insurance store and you said, I want to buy a whole life, they would give you a whole life policy that was designed 100% base. So how we're doing it, we're doing 60% into the ALIR, which is the paid up additions, and then 40% to the base. That's how we did this. So the first plan is going to be the main plan that we use. It's the plan that a gentleman, I think you read his book, Nelson Nash. Nelson kind of pioneer. It's how he modeled this, and that was his design, was the 60-40. So if you look at it, we broke it down 1 year, 5 year, 10 year, 15, 20, 25, 30. It's a lot of numbers. But if you look at it, compared for the top two, which is a 60-40 base, okay, and then the other one right next to it is the Legacy 100, which is a 70% to the ALIR, 30% to the base. It would appear that year one, you have more money with the 70%, which makes sense. We've got 10% more going into that rider. So you got 36, but then year 5, the 70-30 has more. So right off the bat, the Legacy 100 70-30 would solve your problem faster because it would pay off your debt faster since we have more in the first 5 years. And that's really what this is. This is a 5-year, goal to pay that debt off quicker than 5 years. But then the tides turn very quickly as we get down to year 15, if you're looking. Year 15, the 60-40 becomes more efficient and the base all of a sudden starts making more money. So you got 584, 486 in the 15th year versus the 70-30 design, which seemed to be better in the beginning. In the 15th year, you only have 580,000. And then in the 20th year, you have 833. And if you fast forward down to year 30 in the 60-40, significant difference, right? You got 1.6 million in change versus 1.5 million in change. So we kind of almost have to look at this and say, okay, which one would be best out of these first two designs? Well, to solve your problem and your goal would be the Legacy 100 with the 70-30 base, which wouldn't be a bad deal because that would pay all your debts off much quicker, and then we'd still have good growth, but we'd be giving something up later. Now, the one thing I want to remember is your debts, and I'm just going to scroll back to it, you're spending $1,701 a month. So if we found a plan that pays those debts off faster, that $1,701 could be recaptured and recycled back into your plan. So now we'd have an additional $1,701 that we'd be able to add to that savings. So even though these numbers that we're looking at look like the 70-30 is better, both of them are going to have, when we pay your debt off, an additional $1,710 that can go back into the plan as a loan repayment. And then eventually, heck, you could start plan number 2 with the difference. Creating wealth this way is so unique because we actually get to take back the money that we're giving away to everybody else. So those are the first two. Which one of those two do you kind of like? What are you thinking?
Well, they look great, both of them. I see in the long term the number 2, it drops off at the end of the 20-year mark. Like I said, I'm very new to all this, so I'm trying to understand, to see, which one will fit in the beginning and also in the long run. Because this is it's not a quick fix. It's more of an investment vehicle. So in the beginning, I want to hit the debt hard, but in the long run, I still want to be able to have that cash value to keep doing real estate deals. So they look great. Both of them look great. Number 1 looks great is in terms of long term.
Okay. So number 1 beats the long term by quite a bit. So if we were really looking at it, that. Now, we don't have to make a decision as to which one we're doing because we've still got 2 more. So let's look at the next 2 designs. These ones are very good for the short run. They're going to be better. So what we did is here we went Mass Mutual again, put together a plan called the HECV, which stands for High Early Cash Value. That's what HECV stands for. And we designed it with 60% going to the ALIR. Okay, and then we also did 40% to the base, just like the illustration showed. So, and I know that this is kind of what you're looking at, the illustration. So we've got, actually, I apologize. This one, we've got the LISA rider, which is going to combine 1-year term insurance. So unlike the other 2 designs, we actually have to add term insurance to this particular design because of those IRS MEC 7 pay rules. So this plan is going to have term insurance on it, which is important because if you think about what we're trying to design here, we're trying to design the most efficient vehicle that's going to move your money because that's really all we're doing. This specially designed and engineered whole life, it's literally just you're going to deposit money in and we're going to move money out. We're going to just move your money like a raging river. So given that, if we have term insurance on there, that's an additional cost. In this one, the cost for that Lisser rider is about $13.92 a month. Okay, if we did it monthly. So we've got an extra $13 that we have to pay for this term rider. So we have to take that into consideration, but all these numbers that you're looking at already factor out that additional term. I just wanted to point out that these next two designs have an added thing that we had to add on, a rider, which is that term rider. So there's an additional cost on these. So if we look at the HECV, HECV stands for high early cash value. High early cash value. That's exactly what we're looking for to pay off debts. So this plan, in the first year, you put 50 in, and you actually can take out $47,045, which is north of 90% in the first year. Significant difference than the other two. Or the fifth year, we have $260,990. And then as we go down the line, we got $403,000 and change in the 10th year. 15th year is $590,000. 20th year is $839,000. And remember, we put in for the first 10 years $50,000 a year. But then after we did that, we're only putting in the 20 grand. After that point, after the fifth year, we're only doing 20 grand. So, yeah, this is nuts. 25th year, you got 1.1 million, and then in the 30th year, you've got 1.5 million and change. So it's a pretty impressive design. But do you notice one thing when we get to the later years again? So if you look at that compared to that design number one that we looked at, the 60/40 legacy, on this one, at the 20th year, we start losing ground to that original plan. So you can see there's a trade-off. We get more high early cash value in the beginning, but we give up something in the end. There's always going to be a trade-off, which is why, when we work with our members and through the Money Multiplier, there's never just one plan that we can use. There's always going to be multiple plan options, and really it comes down to picking the plan option that works best for your goals, not somebody else's. So, it'd be easy if I just had one plan and I just said, hey, this is the plan, take it or leave it, but that's not the way it works. We have to find the plan design that works best for you. So this plan design certainly kicks butt in the short run, meaning this plan more than likely is going to be the plan that's going to pay that debt off the fastest, allow you to take that $1,700 that you're giving away every month and recycle and recapture that money back into the plan the fastest. So from the surface, which we're not, after this, we've got another little surprise to show you and when we really get into it. But from the surface, this one looks to be the winner, winner, chicken dinner, however you want to do it, because in the first 10 years, we are significantly ahead. Actually, first 15 years.
Awesome.
All right, so then the fourth and final plan design that we did with Mass Mutual is the legacy plan again, but we did this, and this has been talked about a lot. I've seen many YouTube videos. I know we had a short conversation about these. There's some people out there that are doing these designs, putting a ton of the money into the ALIR or commonly known as the PUA, the paid up additions rider. They're trying to put as much there and then put as little into the base, because really the whole idea behind that is the base is where the cost for the insurance is. The PUA is how we get money into the insurance company's separate account and earn those returns fast. I look at it like if people were watching this and they really wanted to understand the difference between the PUA, or in this case ALIR, and the base, I always explain it like a rocket. When you got a rocket taking off for space, like SpaceX, they're blasting a rocket off. It's got a whole bunch of booster rockets. The booster rockets do nothing more than get the ship off the ground the fastest way possible. So those boosters, as they get it off, they use up all their fuel very quickly. And then once the ship gets in space, what do? They drop the boosters drop off, right? Because they're not efficient anymore. They're big, they're clunky, they use a lot of fuel, so they drop those boosters off. So how we got to look at this is the PUA, the ALIR in Mass Mutual's case, is the booster rockets. It's going to get you where you're going really quick. But later on, they become less efficient, where the base becomes the most efficient. You're going to see that become very evident. So if we always can think of the PUA and the ALIR as the boosters and the base as the actual rocket, the efficient portion, then we basically can understand the difference. And The problem, as you saw with the HECV, but we only talked about it a little bit, is we got a little drag. So our rocket on the HECV has like a little rudder on the top that's sticking out a little bit. So it's got drag. So it's not as efficient in the long run because of that drag with the term. But the Legacy 8515, the fourth and final design, that one is all booster rockets. Like we have a very small base on this. 15% of the money you're putting in is going to base. So in order to do that, to make this plan work, number one, it's a tough plan to design, but we have to put a ton of term insurance. We have to put an awful lot of term insurance on this. Actually, the number for the term insurance was, we got $866,000 and change of term insurance just to make this machine work, because we've got those IRS rules, the Max 7 pay rule. So I want you to be aware that even though this plan in some cases looks like it's the best plan, later that flap on the front is just like a big old drag, because we got to keep the term insurance on. Otherwise, the plan will become fully taxable and will mech. So that's the problem with these plans. I love them. I like this design, but in the long run, it's just think of it as over time, your cost in the plan will go up with the term insurance. So therefore, later on in life, this plan will become the least efficient. The other big risk with this, and this is never talked about, to do this, the term insurance that we're going to use is going to be partially supported by the dividend. Now, remember we talked about dividends not being guaranteed, so they can fluctuate. And with low interest rates like they are now, that dividend can actually come down more. And if it does, this plan will absolutely be the riskiest plan of all the ones we did, because you've got a lot riding on that dividend. In other words, if dividends went down, you might actually have to deposit more money into the plan than what we set it up at. So the Legacy 8515, because of the term insurance rider that we have to carry on that, can be the least efficient in the long run. But you can see in the short run, the HECV beats it in the first year. It's 47 versus 41. In the fifth year, the HECV beats it again by a lot, 260 versus 245. And then in the 10th year, the HECV actually starts to lose out. So the HECV loses efficiency in the 10th year to the 8515, and then the 8515 kind of takes over. But later, in the later years, what will happen is, if you just look at that first design, the original 60/40 beats all of them in the long run. So now we've got 4 plan designs. We've got your goals, which are to pay off debt, and then eventually probably use this for real estate and other things that you're going to use, which we haven't even talked about your future, but solve the problem at hand. So really, now that we've got 4 plans, we can really make a solid decision as to which one's going to solve your goals and your problems, your money problems, which you don't really have many. You're kind of unique, you know. You're a young guy. You're successful, you got a great job, and unlike so many other people, you've actually been a really good saver. Although the savings has been going to the wrong place, but still, not many people are like you. You realize that?
Yeah. It was a whole shift. I mean, I've been through the Dave Ramsey's. I've been through, all the save money and these certain things that you're supposed to be doing. And the main thing I came up with is pay off your debt and stockpile money and try to buy assets, But, getting there, it's just like, all right, I got this money sitting. I don't have living in New York as well, everything is so expensive. The money's just sitting there. So, when I heard about this, it was like right on time. It's like, oh, I got all this money.
There we go. And I love that you mentioned Dave Ramsey, and Dave Ramsey helps a lot of people erase debt, and he does it with the snowball effect, which is essentially a lot of people, when they have debt, they think, oh my gosh, I got the highest interest rate, I got to pay the highest interest rate off first. Absolutely not what you need to do. It's the least efficient way to do it in most cases. You start with the smallest balance, you pay the small balance off, you recapture the money you were giving away to the credit card or whatever debt, you put that back on, he does it with the envelopes, right? We do it with a awesome rocket ship here that gives you uninterrupted compound interest. But not trying to poke at Dave Ramsey, but he does say he hates whole life, and I have to kind of do my little pencil poke to him. I love his strategy. He helps millions of people, but he just needs to add one thing to his repertoire and his toolbox, and that's this. Because can you imagine if he did what he does now, but he added this uninterrupted compound interest to the whole mix?
It would be amazing.
Yeah, he should really do a call with me and have me show them how to do that. But that's for another day. But, I think what's so unique is, in doing this, we've really kind of taken 4 different plan designs, looked at them, take your problems, and we can solve them very easily here. But before we can really solve them, one of the things that we do for all of our members is we walk them through what we call the mapping process. So we don't do that until after your plan's in force. So once we get your plan in force, what we would then do is we would then create your tools. Okay, we have a whole mapping specialist team. The only job is them to work with our clients. We don't charge our clients for this, but we have them take all your debts. So we would take all your debts and your expenses and we would map them out. And we would basically be able to see which one of these plans or what your plan does in the next 2 years and how it solves your problem. Now, one thing I've done for you that we don't do, and we certainly won't unless somebody starts their plan, but I wanted to show you the next steps, is we've done the tools for you. We not only designed the 4 plans, but we went in and we did what's called a Cashflow tool, and we also created the map. And what I learned out of this was unbelievable. I took 4 plans, we cash flowed them, and then we looked at the mapping, and it just blows my mind, absolutely blows my mind what it looked like. But 100%, if we take those, and we're going to look at them in just a moment, if we look at that cash flow and we look at that map, the HECV, based on it paying your debts off and based on it recycling and recapturing that $701 that you're giving away on your debts, it by a long shot beats all other 4 designs in the short run. But in the long run, the 60-40 beats it. So now we really kind of got to make a decision. Do we want to play the long game or do we want to play the short game? What is your thought?
That's a good question. Right now, where I'm standing now, I think I want to play the short game just because I want to hit the debt hard and get it out of the way. And like you said, once we get the debt out of the way, kind of recycle the money, do what we got to do, and then eventually start up a new policy.
Well, you're probably going to have to, because there's no way $1,701 after these loans are paid off to this policy, there's no way that money could go into these. We build these plans right under the MEC guidelines. So 50 grand and then 20, that's the most you can ever put in here, like we talked about earlier. And the other thing too, I just want to say this just because there's probably going to be a lot of people that watch this, is it's important to understand that although you're very unique, you've been, through all the programs, the Dave Ramsey's, you've done a great job of paying off or transitioning your debts, and you've also been a great saver and you have a great income. This strategy, the money multiplier that we're talking about here, will work for almost any income. I mean, it might not be 50,000 someone's putting away, it might be 5,000. It might be 10,000 they're putting away a year. It's all just the numbers in the process and how we're doing this. So now, and I'm glad that you said that about, the short game, because see, now I already know what the rest of it looks like because I've already cheated and created the tools for you. So I can tell you right now that would be a really good choice because the HECV absolutely will come out and win. And let's do this. Let's segue right into what that actually means and what it looks like for you.